Welcome, kobolds and krakens, to episode 32 of Dion Rising. Hello! This right here is a Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition actual play campaign brought to you by the Knights of D20. All of them so pretty, so lovely, so wonderful. I love them. As usual, before we begin arresting princes and breaking mages, we have a few announcements brought to you by my friend whose one-shot game I am genuinely afraid to play in. Bobby, announcements please.
Yeah, so I only have one announcement for us today, and that's going to be about tea time this week. That's going to be myself and Dane. So if you have any questions for us, make sure you head over to our Discord channel, join us there, and throw any questions that you have for myself or Dane for any tea you want spilled, and we will answer them whether we want to or not, because we are legally contracted to a devil to do so. And that's it.
Am I the devil?
Possibly. You might be the devil, I'm the hag. You know, we're both here to make contracts.
Wonderful. Thank you, Bobby. And thank you all again for joining us as we embark on an epic adventure in the world of Dion, where heroes rise, dangers abound, and legends are born. Players, dice at the ready. Yes. Ah, good. The shenanigans have returned. That's what we like to see. In episode 31, the party learned from Lysandra that Lord Blackthorne is likely imprisoned in the Weave Break, a brutal subterranean prison for mages. They devised a two-part infiltration plan. Killian would arrest Marroway as a dangerous criminal, then return later with Eidos under false pretenses to interrogate the prisoner. Inside, they discovered magically shifting hallways, anti-magic nullstone cells, and a secretive cipher-based cell block system. Killian gathered some intel while Marroway endured some nullstone-induced psychic pain in the cells below. The party also learned that executions take place on the mysterious 4th floor below the surface, which is said to be easier to reach than to escape from. So we're going to jump right back in tonight. You guys were just reuniting with Killian, Marroway still locked away in the cells underneath after a sort of false arrest. You've come to find that the Weave Break seems to be quite understaffed and overpopulated at this point. So you have some good intel Killian was able to scoop up. So I will leave it to you guys to discuss your next steps of your plan.
Alright, guys, let me tell you everything that happened. Cue montage of Killian explaining everything that happened last time.
Yes. Kittenberry says,
but like,
astutely put.
okay, but like Marroway's okay, right? Like you made sure that they're not like doing things to him and...
Listen, the last that I saw of Marroway, he was taken down a very, very dark hallway, and from my understanding, locked in a cage. Or in a prison cell, I should say.
Okay, well, he doesn't like the dark or prison cells. Like, I mean...
I didn't know any of this going in. This was the plan. This is what we agreed upon.
You guys told me that nothing bad was going to happen to him.
We brought him into a prison for the magically inclined. Safety is not guaranteed inside the prison, I would imagine. But if it makes you feel any better, he did look very pale as soon as we went into the 3rd level of the place. So that definitely implies that magic nullification stuff, well, that's rampant throughout that entire area there. So I think a lot of us...
Sorry, do me and you have different definitions about what will make me feel better?
Killian, I must say, you must work on your bedside manner.
Listen, I just went through a lot in there. There was a lot of stressful situations. I almost got caught right at the end, but I very smoothly played it off. So I apologize if my words were a little bit mixed, Bula, but you know, the sooner we figure out how we're going to get in there, the sooner we can get Marroway out. And, of course, your father, Seraphina.
Thank you.
That's right. We need to push this along, then.
DM, what time is it currently?
You guys went like very first thing in the morning. I would say you probably spent like a grand sum of maybe 2 hours touring the place overall and making it back to your friends. So mid-morning at this point, early mid-morning, probably 9ish.
Okay, so, Valerian's trial was not scheduled yet, but it did seem as though the Warden was pretty confident it was going to take place in the next couple of days. So, the sooner the better. That we, figure out how we're going to do this.
We are definitely not leaving Marroway in there for 2 or 3 days.
No, I don't think that was the plan, but so how did we what did we kind of decide upon when we were planning everything?
Well, I suppose we decided that you all would be in my employ, and we would go in with the promise of handing over some Blackthorns, namely Seraphina, and use that to gain access to the lower levels. Pop Marroway out of prison, get Valerian, pop him out, bing bang bop, and yeah, it's the bing bang bop part that I'm nervous about, I'll be honest with you, because I don't know what happens after that. It seems like we should just keep going to the 4th floor. The best way out is through, whatever they said.
And I did not get any glances at the 4th floor. All I know is that that's where they perform executions. So things go in and they don't come out.
Do you know if the elevator goes down to the 4th floor?
Ian, would Killian have remembered that on the elevator ride? Was there a 4th floor button to be pressed?
What you would have seen is that they use a lever to go up and down floors. You didn't look specifically for that, but because I am benevolent, I'll say let's roll for it. If you roll above a 10 on an at 20, just straight roll, then you would have noticed if there's a particular up or down function.
11.
11. Just made it.
Spicy.
Perfect.
Okay, I think you would have noticed that, like, it's a 2-lever system, especially when you get to that 3rd floor kind of guard station, and that there seems to be a neutral, that they go one direction the same way to go down, and you would have noticed they go the other way to go up at the same time. Whether that tells you, like, when they reach the floor, they go back to neutral, so whether there could be another down position, that's what you would have known about the mechanics of the thing. I'm not sure if you would know exactly if that means that the elevator is what can take you down further.
Mm-hmm. But I think the bigger problem is going to be finding where Marroway and Lord Valerian are. It seemed like they had quite the sophisticated system of cataloging their prisoners, and it seemed to have some kind of hidden code to it as well. I wasn't really able to get a good idea of how to crack it, so I think that's going to be a major roadblock on top of the fact that you guys aren't going to be able to use magic down there.
Well, surely they have something about their whereabouts in the filing room that you mentioned. Perhaps they have something to decode that cipher as well. We can only hope. Otherwise, we might have to subdue a guard to do it for us.
Yeah, the place was very busy, so I mean, the guards there were pretty thin with everything that's been going on in the city. So,
Okay. I wonder who is in that holding cell that you mentioned of the 4 blocks below. You said there was one that was always kept empty for solitary confinement.
That's what they said, but they did say they had like over 100 prisoners currently being held there. So, I don't think we're planning on releasing everybody at once.
Well, Seraphina, do you still want to go into the filing room incognito and look for information?
Yeah, I think that might be a good idea. I can get in there, try to find out where Marroway and my dad are, and I will link up with you after I get that information.
Perhaps while you're there, try to find something to do with the cipher that he mentioned.
Yeah, I'll look for that too.
I don't know if they'll have a big folder in the middle of the table that says cipher secrets, but hopefully they do. You never know.
Well, Seraphine, if it will help you, Annie, they when I was talking with one of the guards, they did say that they get their uniforms at a store on Lincoln Street. I don't know if you know where that is.
Seraphina know where Lincoln Street is?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. That sounds familiar. Maybe we can go and see if they have any in stock. And plus, I need disguise for when I'm in the file room too. So I'm gonna need a couple of costumes.
Kittenberry, are you gonna stay out? Be the lookout?
Well, yes, I suppose so. I mean, someone should probably stay here with Lady Lysandra and maybe Veneraka and Bess. So I could either come be the lookout near the prison and keep an eye on things from the outside, or I could stay here. It is up to you.
Maybe we could rig up. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Maybe we could rig up some explosives. Is what I was going to say. And if things start going south, Kittenberry ignites them, and then it's a true Bing Bang Bob.
Well,
Perhaps outside above the entrance, perhaps? So that, if you are down below, we pull people out towards the street instead of towards you?
That seems helpful to me. Yeah.
Are we going to let her know that things are not going well, though?
That's a good point.
We could perhaps, set like a time limit that if you are not out, or if maybe from outside I hear an alarm going off and I see the guards rushing down further into the building, perhaps that is my goal sign.
if you see a mass panic amongst the guards and them all rushing in, that's your signal.
I will assume something goes wrong then, and I will blow this shit up. Yes. Sounds fun. And she immediately takes out the 2 pistols that she very rarely takes out, but empties out a little bit of the gunpowder, the black powder from a little pouch. And there's a couple tablespoons of black powder. She doesn't keep much, but she's like, this is probably not so much for the explosions, so we will need more than this.
Does anybody have any dynamite?
Fresh out, I'm afraid.
Not
Well, maybe
exactly
the-
the kind of thing to keep in your back pocket,
I am the dynamite.
Are you guys having this conversation near Lady Lysandra? Seraphina's mom?
Yeah.
And she says, I did just go and speak to my friends in construction and maintenance, and I could see perhaps if they have something to slide under the table, if you will.
Yeah, those boys love blowing things up.
Almost as much as they love rebuilding after.
State business. Well, that would be splendid. Yes, maybe you talk to your construction friend. We'll go down to Lincoln Street and try to see if we can get a disguise. And we'll meet back here. Is there anything else we need for this heist?
Well, I will say that we are able to use your magic abilities at least up until we get onto the 3rd floor. So on the 2nd level, you are able to do some magic, but also be aware that there are some scrying eyes in the building. So just be aware of that.
So maybe when I'm trying to get into the file room, I could just use disguise self instead of getting a disguise, and then I can put on the guard uniform that we're gonna get from Lincoln Street after that.
That's perfect. You could probably just put the guard uniform on and then disguise yourself over that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what? That makes more sense, I guess.
I do know you love costume changes, so sorry to take the wind out of your sails. Okay. Shall we?
Okay. Lysandra disguises herself and takes off to go speak to her contacts, try and see if she can get some explosives for you, which I'll just kind of be rolling for to see what she's able to get. Let's flash sideways before we go shopping for those uniforms. Marroway, up in those cells. It's been a minute since you've been down here, although it's already difficult to tell. You haven't felt movement with the cell yet, by any means. It's just been dead silent, like grossly silent. You feel like your bones vibrating inside you. On top of that, you feel awful. You just get more and more sick by the minute, more and more pain. The aching in your head is just like, it's like you can feel your brain like pressing against your skull like a migraine. And you're losing it. Eventually though, you hear just like humming from this very quiet like from the cell next to yours.
So on these cells, is there like the little window hole?
There's a very thin slit in each cell. And it's sort of covered with that like reddish glassy stuff. But it seems to be the one thing the noise is sort of able to reverberate and travel through.
I think Marley would just kind of scooch on over to that little area and just kind of, hello, I hear your music of beautifulness.
Are you looking through that little red slit?
Yeah.
Like the glass? You see, once you make that noise, you see a candle, like one of those little green flame candles, directly across from your cell just go out. And when you stop talking, it reignites. And the person next to you, in the cell next to you, you hear them stop humming, and you see another green light flicker on across from their cell as the noise stops from their cell. So now there's two lights on across from you. As it goes out, you hear a woman's voice. Hello, I hear you.
How are you? Are you okay?
Your candle flicks off and hers flicks on. And then vice versa. Okay. Are you okay? We're here.
Not really, but I know that my friends are going to be coming to get me.
Friends. No one has friends in here.
What is your name?
My name. I'm Prisoner 412.
Well, hello, 412. This one is called Marroway, and now you have a friend.
Friend. And the candle is out as she laughs harder, and two other candles, like a little bit further down, go out. As you hear some other voices, "Shut up!" from down the hall. And then their candles reignite. Hers reignites as she stops laughing. She says, what did you get caught doing? The one called Marroway?
Well, they thought that I was a hag.
Hag! A hag! Yeah, they don't like those. They do not
It's
like
pretty
those.
silly.
What'd you say?
It's pretty silly, I must admit.
That's very silly. Are you a hag?
No, I'm not powerful enough to be one of those.
Not powerful enough. You're here, so you must be powerful. This is where they put us when we have too much power.
Oh well, that would be a mistake. I'm actually probably the weakest of all of my friends.
Yes, that's funny. You must have powerful friends, and they're coming
Well,
to get
They
you.
are. You should. Yes, you could meet them. They're amazing. They're so strong.
As she laughs and more candles go out, the louder she is, you notice, the more of the green flames, including your own, will go out. Almost as if reacting to the noise. And we're gonna flash back sideways. Melanie, go ahead and roll As you go to, are you just gonna go straight to that shop to try and get some uniforms?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and roll either perception or deception, whichever you're gonna rely on most here.
I will do deception.
Okay.
I have a 23.
Okay. And how exactly are you gonna go about convincing them to give you this uniform?
I'm going to saunter over. Good afternoon. I'm here for the uniform pickup.
Uniform pickup. You're not the usual. How are you disguised? Are you currently disguised at this point?
Yeah, I'm gonna be my old lady. I'm my old lady disguise.
They they see this old lady coming to the pickup. The guy behind the counter is like, I don't know what's going on with Ikra. They seem to be a little bit overstaffed or overpopulated down there, huh? Now they've got the likes of you running errands.
Arcano site, we're a little understaffed, so they got me coming over here to do the pickup.
All right, well, here you go. This is the shipment for this month for all your new guards, and there's a stack of like 5 uniforms there. And he hands you a sort of clipboard with a piece of paper, an order form, and says, sign there, and date there, please.
So she's just gonna like do a scribble. She doesn't know what to write.
Okay, and with that 23 deception roll, this goes off without a hitch. This guy doesn't seem to be asking too many questions. And with a 20 deception roll, you are able to leave with 5 guard uniforms.
Nice.
You note that they do not come with the helmets. It's just the sort of studded dark green.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Maybe she'll just ask, where that? I'm sorry, I'm new. Where's the helmet pickup?
Oh, they just keep those on rotation. They don't have very many of those, so those are all just kept in the prison. I'm sorry, did they not tell you that? That's like the first thing of training.
Oh, I'm getting up there, Sonny. I just can't remember. She just takes the uniforms and walks away.
You hear him muttering like, people should be able to retire. This economy's gone down the crapper. Just goes back to work. Okay. What was our other errand? Was there anything else you guys had to do? Oh, let me roll for... Yep.
While we're kind of doing stuff, can Killian find a place to purchase like healing potions?
Yes. Hold on one second. Let's see. You have options here. You could ask Rinrock to help you go and try and stealthily take some for free from Luminara, from the labs. Or you can go and purchase some at the exchange, which is just in like the general like commerce and trade neighborhood. You could go and just try and pick some up.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with option 2. Just go buy them.
Okay, wonderful. Do you care to try and haggle with anything, or do you just want to pay full price and get out of there?
Pay full price.
I'm just gonna pay.
Oh.
We're on a time crunch here. no time for wheeling and dealing.
Okay, they are. I mean, these are. You're looking for just a general healing potion, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, these are going to be 50 gold piece. That's just like the general market value.
I want to haggle now. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, they expensive. Potions be pricey.
Yeah. I'll just buy one of them. Yeah.
You'll buy one? Okay, fabulous. Okay. Lysandra, I rolled for the chance of getting a couple different things here. Let me see what I can come up with. She rolled 2 above 10 and 1 a nat 1. I rolled 3 d20s. So... she was able to acquire for you just kind of 3 small like pouches of blast powder, which is similar to gunpowder but much more of a boom. It's made to be more destructive than just a small like cannon powder, right? And as well as like a little like clockwork trigger that she can teach Chiffon to use. So Chiffon does have 3 separate sort of bomb type items that they would use in deconstructing a building. To set off small explosions wherever you guys would direct her to do so. Lysander said it comes at the cost of my reputation a bit, but luckily I have quite the wealth of reputation in this city.
Thank you so much, Lysandra, lady. Do we want to just set Kittenberry up about 50 yards from the entrance? Hiding behind a bush? Doesn't really matter where she sets it off as long as it doesn't do any, harm to citizens.
Yeah, I agree. Let's kind of set it afar. It's meant to be a distraction and pull guards away, so...
Okay.
Yeah.
I think...
on, like, the walls, like a jailbreak kind of thing, like we're trying to blast the walls in for a jailbreak.
Like maybe close enough that it looks like the explosion was supposed to take a wall down, but not quite so close that it brings the building down.
Right.
Not a bad idea. I could have you guys roll a group roll to try and figure out like exactly how to set that up correctly.
That could also just be a second way to do a jailbreak than what we're doing, yeah.
I mean,
maybe, yeah.
That was a good idea.
To try and see if it'll bring the walls down, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I think, judging by the amount you have here, and Lysandra kind of explaining what they taught her about this substance, it would take a good amount, like barrels of this to bring down a building, but with the amount you have, setting all 3 up in one spot against a wall could easily bring down like a stone or brick wall, a single wall.
Okay. From Killian's description...
That would lose you the ability to like pull them away from the prison, but it would definitely bring them up and trying to figure out who's trying to actively blow a hole in the wall. So, depends on what you want to do there.
We also need to make sure she has a good escape route, because if they're gonna come running immediately, she needs to not still be there.
I wonder if she could just shoot the barrel.
Well, the clockwork trigger has a 30-second delay, so that the construction workers could go in, set them, and get out of the building. So that's what those are made for. So she feasibly would have 30 seconds, and she is fairly quick. But yeah, it couldn't hurt to try and figure out something even further if you wanted to. I would say either option has value, has merit.
Does she have flaming darts?
Does she have firebolt?
She has... She doesn't have any fire spells prepared today. She's got, I'll tell you what she's got. She's got Thunderclap, she's got Prestidigitation, she's got Command, Charm Person, Long Strider for running off, Tensor's Floating Disc, that's just like the little floating platform, Color Spray.
Well, I'm sure the clockwork device would be more than enough time.
Coupled with Long Strider, yeah, she can just set it, get out of there.
Yeah, she can set it and bolt. She has her gun too. If all else fails, she can get away and shoot off the one shot with her pistol at it, if anything fails.
Alright, so are we planning on setting this up like against the wall of the prison?
Yeah, I would assume a good spot that we think that would be good for A, distraction, or B, a secondary get the fuck out of there.
And considering there's like occasionally people patrolling around the outside, not super often. It's like I said, it's super secure. It doesn't have a lot of like above ground security measures because the inside is such a vault. But you'll have to consider, if she leaves them there and then comes back later to set that 30-second trigger, or if she's going to set it up and set that trigger and then bolt. She'll have to do so stealthily to some degree, even if she kind of like sneaks around the back. She'll have to roll a stealth roll, just so you guys are aware of the risk. Risk and reward.
Yeah, there's not like a shrub nearby you can just put these barrels behind.
Yeah, there's not like there's no decorative stuff around the outside. This is a stark building with like not a lot around it.
Yeah, I just think it's a high probability of being seen, even just bringing the barrels there.
Or it's just pouches.
Yeah, they're pouches. Little.
Should we just slap it on the wall?
Satchel charges. Throw it on there. Slap it.
She also has, I mean, mind you, she has some stuff to help her do that on her own. I'm just letting you guys know all of the implications. She, like I said, she's got charm person, so she can, if I roll badly and she gets spotted, she can disguise self. She has charm person. She has command.
Yeah.
So if she runs into one guard, she can maybe try and get her way out of there. So just letting you guys know all your options here.
Well, Eidos is brave enough to let her take that risk.
Henry says, I do appreciate your faith in me. Thank you very much.
Of course, you've been training for this. Maybe.
I sure have. I think I've been reading so much. I'm so ready. I will not fail you for the 8th time.
Okay.
So do we want her to just set it off at a certain time then, or
If things go bad, or like, what, took you 2 hours to get in there, so like 2.5, 3 hours and set it off?
that was 2 hours of casually walking through and not
Okay.
having someone, being held hostage against their will.
So like an hour?
No, less than that, I'd say.
I think less, because we are schmoozing a little bit while we're there.
We do have to schmooze a little bit with the talking part, and I don't know how long it would take to get all the way down there. We want to give us a little bit of time. But if you want to say like 30, 40 minutes, sure. But
is
an hour would be good.
Would it maybe be something to set off and just use the confusion of the explosion to, draw the...
Either we get it done in 40 minutes, or the plan shifts mid-plan. They get drawn up, and then hopefully by that time we're at least to the 3rd level, maybe the 2nd.
Yeah, just understand as soon as we set that off, everybody's on high alert, where we can still try to be stealthy as we're going in. But as soon as that goes off, no more stealth.
Well, as soon as... Well, we were planning on taking the warden hostage. Wasn't that the plan? I imagine once that happens, that's kind of out the door for stealth as well.
That doesn't say anything.
So we're hoping that she's going to walk us down to the guard chamber in the 3rd level, where there are guards. Generally, there are guards in guard rooms. But so we say, okay, bring the prisoner out. Marroway comes out, and then we just like grab him by the shirt or something.
Do we have charm person that we can cast on her so we don't have to like technically take her hostage?
Not in the 3rd level. We don't have anything on the 3rd level.
Well, I mean to get down to at least
magic,
the 1st and 2nd. And
the magic is dispelled.
Oh, the magic is my standing and Pravos. I think that's more than enough to get us down there. And if not, if that doesn't work, then yeah, we'll use magic. But the question is, what do we do once we actually have Marroway?
Well, we don't know where Lord Valerian is either, which is the whole reason we're going down there.
Well, yeah, but if we can't find out... so Seraphina will go into the filing room, and if she can't find Lord Valerian's information, then we'll take the warden hostage and force her to get him. Hopefully she's not one of those types with dedicated to their jobs and willing to die on her shift or anything.
Seem pretty gung-ho about it.
I mean, plan D could just be flip all the cages open and just have people run out. Because he'll get out eventually if we could do that.
This plan makes me itchier than burlap panties. I mean, come on now.
Oh man, is that even an option? From what Killian saw down there, what was the way they opened the cells? Because they used the cipher, and then
the cipher was just to find the cell, and they had keys.
Oh, okay. We need the master key from.
Because I'm not sure how well I stated it last time. The cells are in different cell blocks, the blocks will move physically in a certain order, in a certain pattern, at a certain time. That is typically, I believe you guys figured this out, it is typically a pattern that is pretty traceable, but it has these like overrides that can make it sort of randomized on occasion. Some sort of manual mechanism that might happen that would make things jump around in a different order. So your cipher would be figuring out which location his cell block would be in at what time. Above table, that's the puzzle that you guys would need to solve once you're down there to find him. Either that or you're taking a lot of time to search all the different blocks.
Which can also move.
If it comes down... Right, and then if that's if we are starting to spend too much time, we could just open all the doors and let them go. I mean, if they're gonna catch her, they're gonna have to capture those people before us. While we try to, it'll give us more time.
I think that's a solid plan F for sure. If none of these other plans work.
So the first thing that we need to do is we need to have Seraphina go into the office part and see what she can find there.
And a lot of what she will find there, it will decide what we
where
do.
we go from there.
Yeah.
Alien, did you see what the clerks were wearing? Are they just wearing like business casual? Is that my costume for the first level?
They're essentially wearing like just like a cotton in the same green color, that same dark green. I think I said it was. It's not the studded leather. So yeah, it would be, but like more like definitely like more clerical business casual compared to the guards themselves.
Okay.
So you could feasibly try and recreate that once you see it.
Okay. I'm gonna try to, when we get there, I'm gonna try to catch a glimpse of one and recreate their outfit.
Okay. Are there any more holes that we haven't seen?
Oh, I'm sure there's plenty. I'm sure there's plenty of holes in this plan.
Certainly.
Trying to think. And Kara, the file. So, from what I remember, the second floor, right from the rooms that I saw, had like kind of like the barracks. I will call it like the break room. We'll call it. And then there was also like the lockers with all the confiscated magic stuff. And then I only went to the warden's office. Those were kind of the three that I saw, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then on the third floor, there's like those two levers, whatever we pull to open it up.
Elevator.
And then where's the that file room is in that third floor, or is it the second floor?
No, that was back up on the first floor. That's one of the last things you saw as you were like filling out your address. That room is like behind the counter on the first level. You saw people rushing in and out of there. And just like a whole bunch of essentially filing cabinets.
Okay.
From what I understand, once you get off the elevator on the third floor, it just opens up into that guard room where they have access to the halls, right?
Correct.
Yeah, like the four hallways, right?
4 hallways like the spokes of a wheel. Big
Okay.
cross. With the guard center in that middle.
Okay.
Okay, you ready to try?
Is anyone else getting a guard uniform except for Seraphina?
I'll take one.
Okay, Seraphina will hand one over to Killian. So yeah, Seraphina will put on her guard uniform and get ready to disguise herself. Guys, before we go down there, there's something that I need to tell you. So when we get to the third level, my understanding is that all of our magic items will stop working, and I need to tell you something, and I haven't even told Eidos before, but I'm actually not a natural blonde.
What?
Seraphina, is that... You've been lying about your hair color this whole time?
I don't know if I can go on with this party anymore.
Oh, Seraphina, you're about as much of a natural blonde as a rooster could lay eggs.
Yeah. Every time we go into, you slip away and come back smelling like chemicals. And your hair is freshly blonde. So, something was going on there. But I thought
And
that
how
you
would
just wanted
you
to be
know
more
what-
blonde.
And how would you know what hair dye smells like? Is this your natural hair color?
Of course, it's my natural hair color. Look, this is about. Well, let's go to the third floor and find out. This,
Alright.
this, I've worked hard on this. Don't you even come at my hair. No, you should have told us. You don't have to hide anything. But I suppose I do understand after what you've told me.
I'm crying. The darkest secret of them all comes out.
Jeremy is extremely upset and embarrassed. He's not making eye contact with anyone.
Well, I'm glad
Why
you
am I
could.
so sad for her?
I'm glad you could open up about this to all of us. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you, Killian. Let's go.
I just want to say that if this prison is truly understaffed and you two are coming in with fresh faces, unhelmeted, I'm afraid that we might get found out. So maybe we should make a priority of trying to find helmets as well. And then
I agree.
I hope that we do find a helmet because your announcement will have been in vain if we do. You could have just not told us. That would be quite funny.
I'm
Correct
just
me if I'm
realizing that
wrong.
now.
I think Killian saw where the helmets are last time he was there. Is that correct? Do you remember? I feel like you got a glimpse, maybe. Maybe I'm wrong.
Were they on the third floor? No.
Mhm.
Were they weren't in the locker room, were they? With all the magic
that you
stuff?
Not that you saw, no.
Okay. I know
I didn't take a note of it. Yeah.
I know the uniforms were in that barracksy kind of
Break room.
area, break room area. I don't know if I saw helmets there. I remember.
Okay. Alright. Kittenberry says, perhaps maybe I should have a uniform and I can disguise myself to look like somebody I see there once we arrive. And that way I could sort of be, nearby and say I'm going to do a round outside when I need to go set up the boom booms.
Yeah, I think it's a good
That
idea.
is such a good plan.
I think she'll just have Killian describe one of the low-level guards to her, and she'll do her best to replicate with a disguise self or something similar.
I had to mention
she
it
just
was
looks
it was a short one because they can only
Yeah.
add a imaginary
enough.
foot of height.
Yeah, that way she can just kind of re-up it as she finds someone to actually sort of impersonate. And she puts on one of the guard uniforms. It's a little big on her, so she just kind of rolls up the waist. Okay. Flashing sideways to Marroway again. A couple minutes ago, you felt the whole cell, ka-chung, ka-chung, and you hear this chain rattling and then tightening above you. This what sounds like a large chain. And you feel sort of swaying of the floor and the walls as your cell moves for a while and then lowers back down with a ka-chunk onto the ground.
Hello? 412, are you still there?
I'm not there, that's for sure. I'm here now. Just like you. And just like them.
Do you by chance know how long you've been here?
I lost count at 467 rotations.
What year you got brought here?
What did you say?
Do you know what year it was when you got brought here?
Well, I believe I had just celebrated my 32nd birthday. Must have been 1392? Perhaps?
Oh, okay. So that would be, I must have had my dates very mixed up.
I might too.
You said
Let me double check.
1392?
13? Maybe 16. Hold on.
16 is what I had written.
16 makes sense. Yes, thank you.
That's good. That would have been much worse.
That would have been
I don't know, I
horrible.
was like, oh my gosh, he's been here for like 200 years. Alright, so she's been here roughly 5 years.
That's what I was going for. Yes, good. Yeah, you can guess that much.
Do you know what these little green lights are for, other than going off whenever we talk?
Watch, it's my favorite game. And she starts banging her hands against like one of the walls. And you just hear like the slapping, the banging on the like lead. And the lead doesn't make as much noise as you would want something to. Like, it is so dulling of everything. And she's like tapping on the glass and screaming at the top of her lungs and laughing. And you see almost all of those green lights up and down the hallway, the ones that you can see in your sort of small field of vision here, they all flicker out. And then she stops suddenly and they all flicker back on.
That is quite the game.
After a minute or so, like, she finishes laughing, she just, like, you can't see her, hear her, it's just quiet for a minute. A guard comes walking down and is, like, banging on each of the doors and yelling. Something you can't quite make out because he's out in the hallway, which is noise dampening. But you can feel the banging on your door as he walks down and double checks that everything is still kosher.
I bang back.
Okay, he ignores you.
Okay.
Keeps going.
That's rude, first off.
Wow.
That's rude.
Uncouth. After the guard,
What were
you see
you
the guard
arrested
sort of pass
for?
back by. Sorry, go ahead.
What were you arrested for, 412?
I have my own special way of making friends. They don't like that here.
Well, what is the special way? I would love to make friends.
Oh, you want to be my friend? You'd be the first who had a choice. That's funny.
Are you going to tell me how you do it?
You hear from the cell to the other side of you. You don't want to ask her how she does it, boy. You don't want to know. She's, not in here for nothing. You just hear her giggling to herself. And we'll flash back sideways.
Hello.
As you say hi, we'll flash back to the group. Okay. Kittenberry is in her disguise. You guys describe to me what you look like, what you're carrying, any last minute planning. How are we approaching this?
Nothing different about Eidos. He's in his best and on here on official business since he's playing as himself anyway. He doesn't want anything to look off.
And me, Bula, and Zada were like the entourage of muscle.
The bodyguards, yeah.
And then
my,
Sarah.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, and my personal clerk.
Yeah, so Seraphina's gonna switch up her disguise because she doesn't want to look too suspicious as the old lady working in the clerk's office. So she's gonna disguise herself as a dwarf with long, wavy auburn hair, and she'll have like a dark green business casual uniform, and she'll adjust the details once she gets a little closer and sees someone else with the uniform on.
Okay, fair enough. Tell me who all is carrying a uniform on your person, under your clothes. If you have one of the others. We know Kittenberry has one, and there are 4 others.
Killian will have one. I want it on underneath my stuff. Yes. I do.
You have so many layers.
It's gonna be hot. It's gonna be hot.
Ooh.
I could carry one in case we need to get one to the dad or Marroway so they look less suspicious. So I can
That's
just
true.
hold on
Good
one. 'Cause
thinking.
I'm gonna stand out like a sore thumb even with it at one, but I can at least make them not look so noticeable.
Didn't even think about that. That's a good idea.
Okay. Does anybody just want to be carrying the other two just to have them in the building, or do you want to leave them behind?
I'll carry them,
Okay.
Figure
So
it
now it's
out.
got 3, Kitten and Killian. Sound good?
And then as we're walking, I imagine Seraphina has a clipboard and she looks very official. That gives her a sense of authority. The clipboard.
So tell me the order you guys are approaching the building. Are you all going together? Are you going separately? And I'll have you start doing some rolls as we approach.
Don't we need to have Seraphina go in first before we go in? Like, have her go in and come out with information before we go in.
I suppose we don't have to try to time it like that. Yeah. Do you guys want to do that?
You can all.
Only problem
I'll
is-
give you a picture. I'll give you a picture of the outside. We said this is on like the very edge of the city. It's sort of outside city limits. There's like a light tree line. 400 yards from this prison. There's a field surrounding it, and then ocean on the other side. So lots and lots of open space around the building itself. Very bleak. Like barely even living grass is kept alive. They don't let the woods encroach on this prison. Just so you guys can picture what that is. And then it has, one main entrance door that you can see is like pretty much open. And yes, indeed, it is still as busy as it was this morning, if not more so, with people being arrested. So that's maybe a little bit galvanizing as you see that it won't necessarily be too difficult to blend in with the crowd as guards are escorting people in and out. Prison guards are meeting with city guards and Navy officers. But luckily you can approach sort of, there's a road, a very nicely paved road going up to the prison. But if you stick to that wood line, you can watch the place and sort of make a little bit of a plan.
Okay, so I think Seraphina will kind of go to the tree line and get a peek at some of the clerks going in and out, so she can adjust her wardrobe.
I think it's all of us behind a tree, just like head, looking, peeking.
To the point where it's like Kitten Berries is just on the ground.
Okay, so I guess Seraphina will go first and check out the file room and come back out.
Eidos will stop you as you start walking away.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
If I may, and he'll take off his, circlet of persuasion and put it on your head.
Okay. Looks so good on me. I'm gonna disguise it so we can't see that she's wearing like a circle.
for better social navigation, and this just gives you advantage on persuasion rolls.
Oh, perfect.
Kind of grow a little bit of a longer shaggy hair to cover it up and disguise it across your head. That'll do. Okay. You're just gonna approach via the road where they've got officers coming and going from. That would be less suspicious, I would think, than crossing on the grass. So
yeah, she's just gonna saunter forward with her clipboard like she knows what she's doing.
All right. Okay, let's do just a general deception roll here, just as you hold yourself a certain way to try and dissuade questions.
Okay. I have a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Man, you guys are rolling good so far. Don't want to jinx it for you, but dang. Okay. Yeah, you do look official as you approach and you get some closer detail look at other guards, other prison guards. You are able to on the fly sort of recast.
Yeah.
Is disguise self a leveled spell that you're using right now?
Let me see. It's a first level spell.
Okay, so make sure. I'll let you decide how many times you're casting. You've already cast it the once, so you can mark off that spell. And then it will take a recasting to do your details. So you may just want to get all the details and get it all done at once if you can. Or, you can use your spell slots how you feel necessary. Just track those.
Okay, perfect.
Otherwise, yeah, you are able to kind of adjust little things in your stance, your mannerisms. With that dirty 20, what a filthy 20. You're able to catch some names, so that you can kind of like walk in and be like, oh yeah, Johnson just sent me from XYZ, blah blah blah. You start to kind of like, give little mannerisms as if you know what's going on just by picking up what everybody around you is saying and chattering about. And you approach the building and head on inside this big lobby. Again, I'll just reiterate what Killian saw last time, just so you guys all have it fresh in your memory. You got some very high vaulted ceilings up here. There's like reinforced glass windows, like 10 feet off the ground, way up high, sort of closer to the ceiling than the ground, but lots of good like natural sunlight coming in through those. They're all sort of reinforced, you can see, with like this iron stuff crossed through the glass. Lots of like voices. It's a big echoey room, so it's quite loud. So it's not super easy to like catch individual conversations unless you're like focused on one conversation. Marble floors, a little bit bloodstained here and there. And then you see this like just long counter of sort of like intake desks where you see a bunch of the clerks are working just as rapidly as they were this morning from what Killian would have seen. Several of them wearing their mirrored helmets just so they don't have to carry them around, but others without any helmets at all, like not carrying them, not wearing them. You see guards coming up, checking in, grabbing papers, checking stuff from the file room, taking prisoners downstairs, or guiding prisoners over into the packed holding cells over on the left side of the room, which you can see are also behind that like sort of fenced-in pen area of boar bears.
Okay.
William would have described to you already, that you have to sort of walk in between these two sort of cages of boar bears to get to the holding cells that are in this main lobby.
Okay. So the people with the helmets, is it just the guards, or do some of the clerks have helmets
Guards.
too?
Some of the guards.
Okay.
Not all the guards are wearing them, but some of the guards are wearing them.
Got it.
Looks like those are the ones who are really rushing back and forth up and down the stairs. You would assume that they're the ones actually taking people straight downstairs.
Okay. So can she, when she like walks in, she can see the file room?
Yeah, so taking Killian's description, you're able to see there's sort of the like stairs going down, sort of in the center of the room going down, and then to the left of the stairs is another door that's open double doors, and you see all the files, and that's where people are that's where clerks are rushing in and out to file papers or to grab, different information from back there.
Yeah, Seraphina's just gonna look really frazzled and like she's in a rush, and she's just gonna like quickly walk really fast to the file room. Like she's really busy and she doesn't have time to stop and chat.
Okay. Let me do some rolls. Oh, a 3, a 9, and a 10. You're good. A couple people like especially a couple clerks give you sideways glances. But you've managed to do up your disguise so well and you look so frazzled and hurried just like the rest of them. It would be strange if you were moving any slower, in fact. So for you to be using your nerves in this way is quite helpful. And they don't seem to bother you. One of them even yells like, "It's about time afternoon shift got here. We've been asking for you guys to come in early for about 3 hours, but that's okay, whatever." And you hustle by, with a wave. And you're able to pretty much unstopped get into this file room where you see a couple other clerks and one security guard are sort of arguing over this one particular file. Otherwise, they don't even really look twice at you. Everybody's very busy.
Perfect. So she's gonna try to just take a look around to see if she can find any records of the prisoners, and she'll look around to see if there's like any kind of cipher available.
Okay. Roll an investigation for me. Investigation check. I should be more specific.
I have a 19.
19. Dang, nice. Okay. Incredible. You don't see much of a cipher up here. This really is like bare bones files. What you are able to find, you quickly, you find it's all pretty alphabetical. So you are able to find your father's sort of file in one of the drawers pretty quickly.
Okay.
You see Lord Valerian Blackthorne went through intake and was assigned to cell 481.
Okay.
And you find that the last filed location, so the last location they wrote on his file, of the 400's cell block was in section 3, today at 1:04 p.m.
Okay.
Which at this point, after everything, all the prep you guys have done, was about 2 hours ago. You'd have to guess.
Okay, perfect. Can I find Marroway's file?
Sure. Yeah, with that initial investigation roll, yeah. Marroway, there's not much on him here, not as much as it was in your father's. He was processed as an HMP, a highly magical person, and assigned to cell 203.
Okay. Perfect. Just looking around, is there anything else that I can see that might be helpful for us?
In this room, it's all individual prisoner files. There's really not much else in here that they would keep under, like, so little security.
Okay. Okay, before Seraphina leaves, she's gonna stop to chat with the guard who's arguing with the other clerk.
Okay.
She'll say, "Guard, sorry, I'm new here. Things are crazy. Where do we keep the helmets? Someone's asking for them."
Oh, go ask the warden down in her office. She keeps them in the cabinet.
She keeps them in her cabinet?
Why do you need a helmet? You're not even a guard. Just tell
It's
them.
not for me, okay? Someone's asking. I don't know, okay? I'm not asking questions.
Yeah, the warden keeps them in the cabinet in her office. She's got the key.
Right.
You have to get it from her.
Okay, and the cipher for where we're keeping the prisoners, where is that again?
Him and the clerk he's arguing with are going to look twice at you on that. Why do you need to know? You don't even go down to the street.
It's not for me.
Well, who's it for? Send them. What are they doing? They know where it is.
Fine. All right.
You can roll persuasion if you would like to keep this argument going. You're welcome to try.
All right. I'm gonna try to roll persuasion.
Okay, go for it. I believe your circlet should give you advantage, right, Eidos?
Correct.
Paul? Awesome. So you have advantage on that.
Okay. She has 15.
15. Okay, not bad. You asked where the cipher is?
Yeah, where can I find the cipher?
He's like, all right, look, it's your first day. We're all overwhelmed. I'm sorry I yelled at you. It's not a healthy day to be here. I have to find out where I put it. Hold on. It is. He says the warden keeps a copy of it in her notebook that she uses to train new guards.
Okay.
And that's either going to be, he says, usually she keeps it in her desk, but sometimes she carries it on her if she needs it. So I don't know where it is right now. You'll have to ask her.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry I got frustrated. It's just been really crazy.
It's a bad time to be a guard at the Weave Break. I get it. Go do your job. Thank you for trying.
All right, and then she will rush away with her clipboard and walk out the door.
Okay, beautifully done. You going just straight back outside?
Yeah.
Okay. You're welcome to go and find your friends again real fast, though. Let's flash down to Marroway. There's, it sounds like an older man in the cell next to you that you've started a conversation with now.
What is your name?
I'm, Varmox the Severed.
How long have you been here? Do you know?
Not long. I just got brought in maybe a fortnight ago. Time is strange down here, though. What's the date? We'll assume you know the date. I'm not going to make you actually look it up. Yeah, I won't make you actually look it up. He says, yeah, that's just over 16 days ago then that I was brought in.
Does this place make you sleepy too? Or is that just...
Sleepy's the half of it. Just wait until you've been here a full 24. It's not a pleasant feeling. Sometimes I think the ones who end up going down to the 4th level have it easy.
What did you do to get arrested?
Well, I'm a necromancer, and that used to be useful in a place like this, but apparently not so much with the way things have changed.
I think Marroway at this point is getting really worried for Zareth. Hearing that his only crime was being a necromancer. So you didn't, like, do anything? It's just because of the magic that you use?
Well, I mean, to be fair, I was helping one of my friends over at Luminara do some research, and she was paying me under the table, so I probably should have gone ahead and registered. I just thought I was gonna save her a buck or two by not having to pay the taxes on it. So, it's on me.
That still doesn't seem like the crime fits the punishment.
Well, I'd agree, and I think this nation would agree before too, but things are different now, I guess. Not much room for us old dogs when they're changing the laws left and right.
Are there new lawmakers that weren't in power before?
I mean, yeah, one of the Council of Three switched out. The old human retired, and new girl took his place, and I guess she's not so fond of the freedoms us magicies used to use.
Has she always been like that, or is this like a recent change in her behavior?
I didn't know her. I can't say I've ever met her personally, so I couldn't tell you one way or the other. I do know what power does to people, and it's usually not good. What's that?
I just said that it's probably good not to meet her. She doesn't seem like that nice of a person.
Yeah, this isn't that nice of a place. I don't think you'll find a lot of niceness now that you're down here with the rest of us.
I mean, I found you and my other friend 412. You seem pretty nice to me.
Yeah, too. Well,
Just because someone's a little cuckoo doesn't make them a bad person.
and a long, thoughtful pause. Let's flash back upstairs. See how our friends are doing. All right. Melanie, you gonna update your friends on what you found?
Yeah, so I will tell them the info about where Marroway and my dad are, and tell them that the cipher is in the warden's notebook, which is sometimes in her office and sometimes on her person.
If only we could get a moment in our office without her. Sounds like it's a treasure trove. Things we need to do this without getting in a cell ourselves.
So let's get her out of her office.
Who wants to hang back to search said office?
Should I
Pretty
with the guard uniform?
Can you say it again?
Should I stay back in her office with my guard uniform?
That might not be a bad idea. If you're standing maybe nearby with a guard uniform, it's not going to look suspicious if you're, guarding. And then when we leave, maybe you can get in.
Okay. Mary says she cannot use her magic down the stairs anyway, so we might as well keep her where she is most handy.
But you must come downstairs as quickly as possible. We all have to leave together, or else we're not leaving at all.
And I don't know how many helmets we need. Do we only need one? It allows you to see heat signatures, basically, in the dark. So I don't know if everyone needs to have one.
We just have to make sure we don't get. I'm sorry. What's it called when you are not together?
Split up?
With the party?
Separate.
Right.
What?
Gosh. We just have to make sure we don't get separated if that's the case.
Well, the helmets would also be good to disguise in case they recognize faces down there. just as a little
At
added
least,
security.
at least one more the better.
Certainly.
Yeah, if we can grab a couple of them, that'd be fantastic.
Because the more we have, the less they have, which means they can't come get us as easily.
Start grabbing helmets.
Start
Yeah.
smashing all the other ones in the room.
They're
can do
fairly
that.
expensive. We could keep them and sell them off later if need be. Just saying. Said it was a lot of money.
Pretty big. They are like motorcycle helmet sized mirrored helmets all the way around.
If we could throw them in the
Not
bag
tiny,
of
yes, you're
holding. Yeah, just put it in the bag of holding and then it's gone.
Yeah,
forever.
if it's on the second level, we can put it in the bag of holding.
Yeah, there you go. And then we won't have to worry about it.
It would be handy to have on those lower, darker state levels.
Just any extra ones we can throw in the
So-
bag of holding.
Yeah. Well, good. We figured it out. Yes?
Sure.
I feel good. I feel very good.
Ados, you may want to take that circlet back from Serafina, seeing how you're going to have to do a lot of schmoozing.
Yes. Serafina, do you mind? It looks fantastic on you, I have to say.
Better on me than it does on you, I will say.
Of course. I wouldn't argue
Ask
that.
my mom for one of these.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm good.
Well, before you head inside, let's take a quick 15-minute break. Get some water.
Yikes.
And I'm sure everything will go exactly as planned.
No doubt in my mind.
So we will be back at about 40 after the hour. So 9:40 Eastern, 8:40 Central. Stick around. We'll be back. We'll keep doing all these silly things. Welcome back, babes and babettes. Let's get right back into this little jailbreak. These guys have been finding clues with some little recon missions, figuring out some disguises and some dirty little lies to tell. So let's get back into it. You guys were just about to head inside in your various forms of disguises. So what does that look like?
I think it's my crew, posting up at each of my four corners as we're walking swiftly toward the door, maybe. Would you guys agree with that?
I'll probably be up with you, Ados, just because I've been here, and I might be recognizable as someone who's been here earlier today.
Okay. So, like two by two then?
Yeah. I think
Do you
me
want
and Sada would be
Go ahead.
behind you, just like in our normal garb, right? But looking menacingly, kind of
Yeah.
hulking behind you, the two of us.
Also can't do math. So, is it 2 by 2 or 2 by 3?
Melanie, are you accompanying them?
I was kind of thinking maybe it might be smarter if I hang back and keep doing my clerk thing and try to eventually change into my guard uniform and try to find those helmets? Or should we go down together like I'm your clerk?
You could probably just
if you
walk in there, probably, like as a guard.
If you tailed us, then maybe you wouldn't be associated with us and you can kind of slip away more easily.
Yeah.
No, I think it's a good idea.
Okay, yeah. Alright, and then how would I find you once I get the helmet?
Well, hopefully you would still be within eyeshot, right?
Okay, alright, that sounds good. I will somehow flag you so that we can all get helmets and then stuff them in the bag of holding.
Okay.
That's a leak-proof plan right there.
I can't possibly beat you with that.
We solved your
Okay.
puzzle.
Alrighty, so with the four of you heading in together, Marroway, down in your cell, as you're chit-chatting with your fellow inmates, take a point of exhaustion as well as an additional point of exhaustion, by the way. Another 1 point of psychic damage, as just even the most accidental skin to metal contact with your cell floor and walls hurts. your brain.
I'm so
All right.
sleepy.
It's very sleepy. Gang upstairs. As you walk in, everybody go ahead and roll deception. Unless you can argue your way into a different type of roll as you approach this. I'm guessing you're just gonna, with purpose, walk up to the counter.
Oh, yeah, I don't think that would be deception for Eidos. He's absolutely going to walk in like he owns the place and playing himself. Here on behalf of... Yeah, hell yeah.
Intimidation could also work, but I would think persuasion.
Well, that's what I was going to say for, like, Bula, and I don't know, Zada, what your roles are, but could mine be intimidation?
All the same. All the same.
Yeah, you
Oh,
can roll for intimidation.
Okay. Ooh, hot dog.
So,
What do we got?
Anos, are you rolling anything, Anos? Or you're just kind of strutting in?
He's rolling
roll
for...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
persuasion.
Okay.
You can choose not to roll anything, but, you know.
Really, not 4.
I was gonna say, if I've kind of been here already before, I'm not trying to, you know.
You're not really deceiving at
Yeah.
this point.
Can I just roll like persuasion as well? Just kind of work my way in with Eidos?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, 21. Nice.
Eidos, what'd you get?
I got a 23.
Okay. Ula?
18 on intimidation.
Nice. And Zada?
4. I rolled a 5 for a -1 for -1, so that's a 4.
Incredible. Okay. And then Melanie, as you are coming back in, I'll have you roll a new check of... my gut says deception, since you're still just straight up lying about who you are, trying to blend in as a guard. But you could do like performance, could be argued.
I did, while you were talking, I did already roll deception. So I'll do, so I have 25.
25. Okay, excellent. Okay, a lot of great rolls, luckily high enough to cover Zada's 4 for the most part. Yeah, how are we approaching the counter? You see a couple harried clerks shuffling another prisoner down the stairs with a guard.
Eidos will walk up and say, excuse me, I need to speak to the warden now.
You need to speak to the warden now.
Yes, I'm here on official business on behalf of Provost, and I have some business to do with her.
Provosian! Oh, he's a Provosian, ladies! Well, let's get his royal Provosian ass downstairs to speak to the warden! And they kind of laugh at you for a second.
What's
as
your
they're
name?
sort of doing so, Killian, you would recognize the woman herself, the half-orc warden, coming up the stairs and slams a clipboard down on the counter at the guy, especially who's giving you lip, and says, yeah, you're gonna get my expected guests down to my office right now, actually. Thank you, if you would like to still have a job. And the clerk goes beet red and shuffles away with the clipboard to go put it in the filing room. And she turns to you, Eidos, and says, oh, Killian, what was the name you gave her again? I don't remember.
Gave her? Or,
yeah, didn't you give a fake name?
Oh,
or did you say you were...
No, I think I said Killian.
Okay.
I didn't give my last
Sir
name, but I said Killian.
Sir Killian, welcome back. I assume this is your employer?
Yes, this is Eidos Nawat.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Killian. I can handle it from here. He'll walk over and shake the warden's hand.
Big
Warden
old
Thessalia
meeting.
Cone, I presume. Thank you for meeting with us.
Well, I don't have a whole lot of time. What can I do for you today?
Well, it seems like there's been a little bit of a clerical mistake. You see, our man here, Killian, had jumped the gun a little bit and took one of the prisoners that I needed to and ask some questions to. He meant well, but I wasn't quite done with him. I I hope that we can maybe speak about this in private. It concerns state information.
She looks at Killian. What was the name of the prisoner again? I'll go grab the file.
I believe that creature called itself Marroway.
All right, hold on 1 second. She grabs a clerk and brings him back into the filing room, and together they kind of go through a couple files and pull it. She comes back out and lays it on the counter between y'all. She says, yeah, brought in this morning, suspect of, I believe, grand larceny and theft. How does that have to do with, state business? You know what? Hold that thought. Let's go talk in my office if it's that important. She gives a nod to one of the guards who kind of, like, opens up the little counter thing where it comes up and lets you all behind and, starts to lead you all down the stairs. Eventually make it into her office. She closes the door behind you and she says, sorry, we don't have enough chairs.
None needed. And we're dreadfully sorry to bother you. I am acting as ambassador from Provost for my father, the Grand Minister of Provost, I believe it was. And yes, and this prisoner that we've been hunting him down, and we suspect that he has some sensitive information about the goings-on of Provost. So we need to ensure that he either does have that information or is dealt with hastily. I understand that you have a facility here for that purpose, precisely. We don't come empty-handed. I know this is a little outside of your policy, so we have some information on the whereabouts of some Blackthorns.
Blackthorn.
If you'd be interested.
Bravos has a hand in every jar, don't they? All right.
Well, I have a special relationship with the Blackthorns. I went to school with the youngest daughter, and we developed some rapport. And so I'm here on behalf of Provost to sort of maintain the relationship between Provost and Nerdistan and make sure that May Note's new policies are dealt with, executed to the highest degree. And so I was thinking maybe if you wanted to, be privy to that information, we could maybe exchange access to my prisoner, well, your prisoner now, but my prisoner from before, and Ados will look at Killian with disappointed eyes. And I give you that information.
You see her open the top drawer of her desk and pull out a little leather notebook. Flips back a couple pages from where her book was sort of marked, where she had a ribbon just marking her current page. So there is a warrant for questioning of the Blackthorne family. That information could be quite useful, I believe, to the new counselor. Maybe we have a conversation then. Can you guarantee you have information that could lead to the detainment of the other Blackthorne family members?
Yes, I can guarantee. My reputation and honor as a Provosian royalty is on the line, after all.
All right, let's have a conversation. And as she closes that notebook and puts it back in the drawer and clicks the drawer shut, let's flip over to Melanie, who I believe was tailing in the group. You go ahead, you keep eyes on them, you kind of blend in as you watch them disappear down the stairs with the warden. What do you do?
Yeah, I'm just looking really frazzled. I have like a really annoyed, like furrowed brow kind of look on my face, like I'm just can't handle how crazy it is in here. I'll watch them go down. As soon as I get a chance, I'm gonna try to find like a quiet place to switch into my guard uniform that I have under my disguise self.
Okay. The upstairs, the lobby is not a quiet space. There is no other room.
Okay.
There You're welcome to go down to level 2. You rolled high enough on your last deception check to.
Okay, so yeah, maybe I'll just go down to level 2 to try to find like the locker room or something, and look around for those helmets.
Okay. So this being your first time down in this part of the prison, the first door you find wide open. You see tons of bunk beds. You would know that Killian described this to you as the guards' quarters. Next room down would be the lockers room. The door is closed, but you would know he described the second door of being with lockers and such. You don't see anybody in the guards' quarters. You don't hear anything going on within the locker room.
Okay, the helmets are in the locker room, you said? Sorry, which room?
No. The helmets they told you are in the warden's office.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna go into the locker room and kind of like switch out my costume.
Okay.
My costume
the door is not locked. There doesn't appear to be anybody inside, but as Killian told you, you spot that scrying eye up in the corner.
Okay. I'm gonna head to the other room. I'm gonna just like slowly back to this room.
Wasn't supposed to be here. What did I even come down here for? I don't know.
Too crazy.
Okay, you go into the guard quarters, the first room?
Yeah.
Okay. There's no one in there. You're welcome to close the door behind you. Or you can just go and like sneak back between a set of the bunks, however you want to do this.
Yeah, I'll close the door and do my costume change.
Okay, quick change.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, you are able to do that very quickly into an actual guard uniform. As I told Killian, there's like nothing really on the tables except a single scroll is still sitting out from this morning. Left behind.
Okay, I'll take a look at the scroll. Oh yeah, and I forgot to tell you while we were playing last time, I do have disguise self at will, so I haven't used any spell slots yet. But yeah, I will take a peek at that scroll on the table.
Okay, awesome. It looks to be some sort of like transport log. It's dated today, like this morning. I'll paste all this into the chat on Discord, but essentially, are you gonna take the time to read it, or are you just glancing at it, rolling it up, taking it? What are you doing? Are you actually gonna read it?
I'm gonna just glance at it real quick because I want to keep an eye out for everyone else to see when they kind of like leave the warden's office, so I can get in there.
Okay. You can see this is essentially like you see it talking about cell blocks, sections, emergency override. You see all the makings of this explaining more about the cell block rotation.
Okay.
Was described to you.
Okay, but it's not the cipher. It's just like general information.
Correct.
Okay, perfect. Okay,
Looks
so
to be like guards, like handwritten notes to help them remember, kind of thing.
Okay, is there like a window outside of this door? Can I just like kind of peek outside where they are?
No, you are at this point underground 1 level. So you've gone from floor level, you're in the 2nd level under. The levels go down like 1, 2.
Oh, okay.
4. Yeah.
All right, so I gotta go down 1 more.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna go down 1 more level. So no, wait. What level are you guys on?
This one.
They're on your level in the warden's office.
They're on 2.
That's
Okay.
Or 3 doors
Okay,
down.
so can I see where they are, like at the warden's office? From here?
She closed the door, so I don't think you can see them. I think maybe you can hear voices coming from that office.
Can I like
and you might
see
be able to
the
recognize
door?
your friends. You can see
Yeah,
the door.
can I, like,
yeah.
see-
If you go back out into the hallway, you can see that door.
Yeah, I kind of just want to like loiter.
Okay.
Until the door's open. Sorry, I misunderstood.
No, that's all good. All good. Okay. Back inside the office. Actually, back downstairs with Marroway. You are being regaled with this old man's story, who doesn't seem to have much of an opportunity to talk to people much. he is explaining sort of what he was doing, you're able to like parse together that he was working with Professor Athena from Luminara, Zareth's teacher, who was arrested and beheaded in that execution. That he was sort of being paid under the table for her just to help do, more research about all the things that they've been doing in Nerdstand. It doesn't sound like he was doing anything like illegal except for that sort of under the table, non-taxable income deal that he made with her. You hear prisoner 412, who hasn't told you her real name yet, just kind of talks to herself quite a bit, and the other inmates tell her to shut up quite a bit. On occasion, you'll see the guards come back around. And you're going to take another point of exhaustion.
Can I roll an Arcana check?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what are you checking for?
Does me being, like, born of magic, is that having a negative effect on me right now?
Roll and find out.
Here we go with my -8.
Oof.
Which, with Arcana, is just a -1. It's a 4.
Oh.
Yikes.
It's hard to tell, but you feel like everything that gives you energy is being drained from your body. You feel your blood is, like, slowing down.
Oh.
Oh, dear. I've been pretty sleepy before, but I don't think I've ever been this sleepy.
Right.
Are we sticking on Marroway for a second, or are you flashing back?
Sure, yeah.
I think Marroway just wants to ask, what was his name? Vermax? Did I get that correct?
Varmix, yeah.
Varmax. If you were to get out of here, what would the first thing you want to do be?
You know, I would have one of the roast beef sandwiches that my friend Lemon Balm makes over at the Ball and Batter.
There's a part of me that doesn't know if I'm going to make it out of this. I have a friend named Bula, and if she comes for me, could you take her to have a sandwich? I think she would like it.
Kid, I wish I could make you feel better about that outcome, but I don't have it in me either. So, yeah, if I ever made it out of here, I'd take your friend Bula to have that sandwich. Hope she can appreciate some good eats, because, man, it's the best roast beef this side of the river.
I don't think I've ever met anyone that appreciates food quite like she does.
Yeah, we'll do that. We're gonna flip back upstairs to the warden's office. So you were asking her to let you question Marroway, correct? In exchange for
Yes.
some information on the Blackthorns? Okay. You yourself, Eidos, had rolled a 23 on your persuasion, right? Initially?
Correct.
Okay, I'm gonna have you roll another persuasion just for this as a check. With advantage.
Okay. It's either a 12 or a natural 20.
Hey.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take that second one.
Yeah, I figured you would. Okay, excellent. So it wasn't so much a question of if she's willing to make that deal, because she very much is. It was a question of whether she was willing to let you do the questioning first without getting the information from you initially.
Sweet, I was afraid of that.
You have convinced her, though, that you're good on your word and that you have no reason to protect the Blackthorns, and that you would, in fact, maybe know where one or two of them have gone to ground. That being said, she is going to offer, sorry, I've got to think about some timing here. She says, there's about 15 minutes until the next rotation, so we can go down now, or if you think you need more time than that, I can take you after the next rotation on the hour.
We may need more time. I'm not sure. This creature, the disgusting beast, is quite finicky, and not even sure it speaks any civil language. So, if you don't mind, yeah, the most amount of time would be great.
All right. Well, I need to get some things done in the meantime anyway, so why don't you just sit tight here for the next 20 minutes, and I'll come get you after the cell blocks all finish rotation, and then we can head down.
Thank you for being so amenable to our needs.
Thank you for potentially getting me a nice pay raise. I've been waiting for one for 5 years.
And you'll very much deserve it.
She says, don't mind if I lock you in here, just, you know.
Oh, please, it's a prison. I don't want anybody to have access to me anyway, so that would be preferable.
That's for safety reasons, of course. You see her, as she's, like, getting ready to leave, you see her pull a large key ring with a bunch of skeleton keys off of her belt. Melanie, from outside, you see this large orcish woman in a more sturdy uniform than the others, but still in the same dark green, with this, like, soot-covered cape, comes out, locks the door behind her, and says, we have some guests in my office. Be sure not to let anybody in. Don't let them out. I'll be back in about 20 to take them down to question someone.
Got it.
And she goes off upstairs. And just like that, with some incredible rolls so far, some of you are locked in the warden's office with Melanie outside guarding the door as a guard. How would you like to proceed?
She has the bag of holding, doesn't she?
No, it's Bula.
Bula.
I have the bag of
Bula.
holding.
Bula said she had
Yeah,
it, yeah.
let's open up that cabinet and see if we can open it at least.
Get the cabinet, get the journal.
Yeah.
See if we can find an override key.
Yeah, find just
And
completely.
helmets too.
ransack.
They're in here too, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to
Yeah,
look for.
everything's
Yeah.
in there.
But don't be careful. If she notices that anything's amiss when she comes back, we're found out.
Right. Careful searching.
Careful
Yeah.
searching. Okay. So immediately you know that notebook was in the top drawer of her desk, top right-hand drawer. You can see the one piece of nice furniture in this room is a large, almost like wardrobe-sized cabinet with a small keyhole. Other than that, not really much else in here to be seen or had. There's a desk, and the cabinet, and the chairs. Who goes
Go
for
to
what?
the cabinet. I'll go for the cabinet.
All right. You pull it. It jangles, but it's locked. Large oak doors.
Pull out my thieves' tools.
All right. Go ahead and roll a sleight of hand for that.
Oh boy.
And adding your proficiency if you're proficient in your thieves' tools.
I am not proficient in thieves' tools, but I have thieves' tools. I don't think anybody is. Are you, Gillian?
I am.
Oh, then go ahead, you do it.
That's not yep. All right. Roll with advantage. Phil.
All right. So with advantage, sleight of hand.
Uh-huh.
All right. So that will be 23.
Excellent. Yeah, you're able to. It's a pretty simplistic lock. You're able to click it right open. And indeed, this thing has 4 of those helmets in it right now that are not being used by other guards.
Throw them in the bag.
Open the bag, Lula. Jump shot.
Swish.
It's like Marroway's just dying downstairs in the window. It's like, yay!
Yeah. We're doing great.
We need to bring people out of prison more often. Okay. I forgot to ask, did we come up with an actual time of when Kittenberry should be setting off bombs? We went back and forth a couple times.
I think we'll be good with like the hour. I think.
An hour?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just sitting here for 20 minutes waiting for to go down there, and you think
I
want
mean-
her to do
You
that
wouldn't have known that
for only an
before.
hour?
You would not have known that
No.
before.
I
Oh.
suggested that we
Earlier,
should do an
everyone had
hour.
said 40 minutes. I thought
Somebody
they said
said-
40 minutes, didn't they?
I said
I-
an hour.
Yeah, I went lower, but now I think
You
an hour's
wanted to
good.
go lower.
Don't
I'll
listen
let
to
you
me.
guys take a vote between 40 minutes and an hour. Or I can roll for it.
Hour.
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 Hour. Okay, we'll say you said an hour. That'll do.
Because
Okay.
it makes sense in case anything goes. Because we're doing it in case of like the last bit of time that we want. So I think.
Yeah,
that...
we want to get as far down as we can before it goes off. Anyway. So.
And we knew we were going to be talking
Right.
for a while.
Yeah.
Right. We didn't know how long it was going to take us to persuade her.
1 hour.
Okay. So you've got the helmets. Is anybody going for the notebook in the drawer? Just drawer.
Check out the notebook in the drawer, and also for any other cool things in there.
Okay. I will copy paste in the chat what we got in the notebook, but I'll read it out loud as well. So you were able to find an explanation of, it looks like her like shift notes are what she keeps in this notebook. It's like a running log basically of just whatever she has time to jot down about her day so that she has a report to give to her acting warden at night when she goes to bed. You flip through, you find that the cell sections, the 4 different sections, are laid out in like a cross with the guard station at the center. Like I said, they're like the spokes of a wheel, and the pattern that the cell blocks rotate through those stations, they start with like section 1 is to the north, section 2 is to the east, 3 to the south, 4 to the west. And today, the 400s cell block skipped section 4 due to an emergency override at 1:56 p.m.
And Lord Valerian's cell at 1:04 p.m. was in section 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it
Killian.
was about 1:04, roughly 2 hours ago.
Interesting. Killian, you're smart. Here you go.
What?
So this isn't all the information you need to figure it out, but I'll let you start to kind of puzzle it together.
Is there anything else in this desk?
Not much. It's got like very hastily written notes from like days and days and days ago, weeks ago. It's got some of her just like personal belongings, some of her effects, a photo of a couple half-orc kids.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, but nothing else that seems particularly useful.
Okay. Close the drawer. Make sure the cabinet's locked back up. And I'll take my seat.
Okay. Seraphine, are you up to anything in the hallway out there?
She's just looking really tough. Just looking around, make sure nobody gets in or out.
Okay. As we let some time pass, let's flash down to Marroway. Feeling all kinds of terrible. At this point, the guard has come by another time, as I assume as you've been chit-chatting with your cellmates for a bit. They seem to come whenever the chit-chat gets too loud and too many of those little green candles go out. But barring no one being out and about or anything really impressive happening, they don't seem to like stop very often. Your conversation to the left of you, like past Varmox, you've also met Thorn's sister Lelis. And I deign to say she likes you immediately, as you now and then you can speak loud enough to have brief words with her without the candles all going out. As she's a couple cells down, and Varmox kind of like relays messages as you three have a conversation about your lives. Thorn's sister Lelis is, she tells you she was a druid, and that she used to be a pacifist. But that didn't last long.
What caused you to changed the violent tendencies?
Oh, well, as people expand and there's more of us and less of nature, me and my community don't like that very much. Someone has to defend the woodland and the swamp, right?
In what way were you defending?
In whatever way we could, honestly. Unfortunately, there was a loss of life that was unavoidable. Trying to prevent a new community from springing up and harming this particularly lovely flock of birds that I like a lot. So, all things considered, I restored the balance of nature and ended up here.
I think Marroway has a certain kind of feeling about the phrase she just said about restoring balance by taking a life, but I don't know if he has the energy to argue with her. So I don't think he's going to. I think at this point he's a sleepy boy, and I think he's just gonna lean his head against the wall as he's kind of sitting on the ground.
And you'll take 1 more point of psychic damage as you do, but you can. Back upstairs, about 20 minutes passes. Indeed, you hear the keys in the lock. Seraphina, you see the warden come back and give you a nod of sort of dismissal. And the warden walks back into the room, where she finds you all leaning casually. She says, all right, well, the cell blocks have rotated, so we can go down now, and you can question him in the guard station. That way he can't use any of his magic bullshit on you. And she leads you over to the lift at the end of the hallway. You are going down the shifting room the shifting hallways, as Killian remembers. And she doesn't seem worried. It seems like, she's not in a rush. It doesn't seem like the hallways are going to shift like they were the first time you walked through.
As we're walking, Seraphina knew that the plan was to put any helmets in Bula's bag of holding, so she's going to try to hang back close to Bula and get one of these helmets before we go down.
Okay, both of you roll a stealth or a sleight of hand as you try and very quickly communicate, give me a helmet, here you go, and pass it off.
Killian
without
wants to
Warden
be
leading.
I was gonna say Killian wants to be up front, with Eidos, and just be gushing about the prison's cool system, and in an effort to provide help to these ladies here.
Right, you can roll performance so that the ladies can roll with advantage.
All
Yes,
right.
please.
If your performance is good enough.
Oh, that's a 22.
That'll do. So ladies, you can roll your stealth and or sleight of hand with advantage. With Killian's assistance.
Much better. So I got an 18.
Oh my gosh. I got a dirty 20. It looked like it was going to be a 1.
I'm waiting for that one to spoil everything, but you guys are rolling too good.
Oh my God.
It's coming, don't you worry.
Yeah.
It's gotta be. And the more dirty 20s you guys roll, the more excited I get. Can only last so long, people. Okay, you guys are able to pretty flawlessly do a quick hand change so that Melanie is now holding one of the mirrored helmets under her arm.
She's going to put it on right away.
Sure.
No hesitation.
All right. Are you gonna stay up there in the hallway, or are you gonna try and follow them down?
I'm gonna wait for them. I'm gonna try to meet with them later, so the warden doesn't just ask why I'm in the elevator with her.
All right. So you hang back, and the rest of the crew goes down. She leads you through the hallways. You make it into the elevator. She is actually going to reach into her pocket, and she pulls out a stone, a very smooth stone, and and just like holds it for a second and then re-pockets it. And about 3 minutes later, Melanie, you see a guard kind of, briskly walk past you with purpose, and they go down the hallways, and you guys hear this guard approach, and they come in to take the lever, the secondary levers. You always need 2 people to run this, to operate this elevator. And they both, with their timing, go ahead and pull the levers together, and the lift drops. And you guys make it into the sort of security room. Killian, this is the second time you've seen it, but for the rest of you, it'll be your first time. Again, those of you who are casters, various levels of just like brain fog and almost like mental stiffness take over as you can feel more of the magical parts of you are sort of cut off by the weight of this stone around you down here. Okay. She says to one of the 2 security guards that are working in here, we are looking for, and she pulls Marroway's file out from behind her back. We're looking for prisoner, what did I say you were, 212 something? We need the prisoner from 203, please, for questioning. And one of them takes the keys that she holds out to him and goes down, and a couple minutes later reappears with haggard Marroway. Unless, Marroway, you were to put up a fight. They don't say anything to you as you hear the key turn in the lock of your door and see the door swing open into darkness.
Do not think I would have had the energy to put up a fight.
All right.
They was just like seeing how bad he looks, and she's just like literally on the verge of raging right there.
Yeah. And he looks bad.
She's just like vibrating.
They pull like one of the benches that the guards kind of sit on. They pull one of those over and sort of plop Marroway down on it. And the guard stays right up close behind him. The warden pulls over a separate bench, sort of like across the room, just to kind of like observe from afar a little bit. She says, the prisoner is yours. You can ask questions for about 5 minutes before we put him back.
No, Warden, we did mention that this was particularly sensitive information about state secrets. Do you think maybe we could clear the room, or maybe we could have our own room?
She gives it some thought and kind of looks at the now 3 other guards that are in the room. She leans forward, puts her elbows on her knees, and says, we could do some rounds down each of the hallways for 5 minutes and leave you the room.
There are no means of recording in this room, are there? No scrying eyes?
Not even if they worked. We don't need them this deep.
Okay. I trust you entirely, Warden, and you've already gone out of your way, and I appreciate taking one more step to go out of your way for us.
Well, don't make me regret it.
Of course not.
All right, boys, let's do a security check. Let's check the hinges and the locks on every door. Make sure you put visual eyes on each of the inmates and report back here in 5 minutes. And they each take out from a separate door to go down each of the 4 hallways.
So how many in total were there in terms of like warden plus how many guards?
4 total. So warden, the guard who pulled the lever, and the 2 guards who were on duty down here. 4. So they're covering literally each of the 4 hallways at this point. They all disappear into darkness. The doors close behind them.
Yeah, as soon as those doors close, Eidos will say, "Shit, what do we do now?" Marroway, are you okay?
Bula just like instantly is over there like scooping him up, like holding him and trying to like keep him from falling over.
Okay, so we have Marroway.
Yeah.
And now we do the next part of the plan.
Which
Sada?
is. Yeah.
You are the one who is. What do we
Okay.
do now? We gotta wait
You
for
have-
Seraphina to come down here. And
How is she gonna get down? They need two people to operate
she's
the
two
lever.
people.
She needs two people.
Let's go up
I thought she was
together.
gonna come down with us.
Two of us go back up there, get Seraphina.
We can do this within 5 minutes.
How long did it take us to get down here on the elevator?
Not long. 20 seconds.
Okay.
Yes, plenty of time.
Yeah.
Somebody go
Alright.
get Seraphina, and we're going to. We don't even have that information. No,
Cypher's
Seraphina
note.
tells us the information.
Chalkboard's right there.
You got the chalkboard with writing on it.
Yeah, Killian, use your genius mind and your notebook to solve the
notebook.
cipher. Yeah.
So the warden's notebook, you're able to find like the newest cipher code. With that, go ahead and roll investigation just to see how quickly you can decipher that. As which two of you go upstairs?
I am 6'10". Is it enough to like hand and foot this with one for one person?
Dang.
It is more complicated
well,
than that.
let's try though.
They both have grip mechanisms.
I mean,
He's got
Bula can go
nimble
with you,
toes.
but she's not letting go of Marroway, so there'll be 3 of us then.
Alright,
Well, we don't want to take Var away.
Here, I'll go upstairs. I'm
I would
virtually
be much
useless
use
down
to
here.
you right now anyway.
So Zada,
We don't-
Zada, you and I will go upstairs and collect Seraphina.
All right.
All right.
Um,
I head that way.
Killian rolled a 14 for investigation.
14. Okay, I'll get to that in a second. Or I'll just drop it in the chat right now, actually, so that way you guys who are working on the puzzle can work on that. The two of you who are going upstairs, go ahead and roll. Each of you roll a d20 flat. You both have to get evens to time the lever pull correctly, or you both have to get odds. You either both have to get even or both have to get odd for this to work. Otherwise, you have to try again.
Okay.
And a certain amount of misfires is gonna mess things up.
I got a 7, so get on.
I got an 11. So,
Hey!
yeah.
Alright, you guys
Nice.
solid eye contact, 1, 2, 3, pull, and you both pull to go upstairs. You are able to get up there. It would appear the hallways haven't changed, so you can retrace your steps through the hallways that you would have just taken to go down. Seraphina, do they still find you there in that hallway? Wearing your helmet now?
Yeah, Seraphina's just hanging out, looking tough, like she belongs there.
Seraphina, stop messing around. Come on.
Just
Sure.
didn't think that one
Sure.
last part through, did you?
Nobody did.
She'll hurry into the elevator.
Okay. Once again, do another roll, the two of you who are pulling the levers. You both need evens or you both need odds.
2, 3, 5.
Or
So,
That's not fail.
okay, no, on go. 1, 2, 3, go.
do you mean 1, 2, 3, go pull, or is it 1, 2, 3, go?
No, you
and then
pull. Oh my god, sorry. You pull on go. Okay, 1, 2, 3, pull,
Right.
and then go.
Okay. All right.
2.
15.
These are all. Okay.
Good.
So we're gonna go. Wait, 2 and 15.
No, we did it. 2 and 15. Oh no, that's not right.
Nah. Okay. Well, forget the go. We're gonna go on 3.
Yeah, right.
1, 2,
3. So
go.
on 3.
On 3, we both
On 3.
pull. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Look
I
at
really
me.
hope this is the thing that gets them all caught.
Look at me. Don't break eye contact. 1, 2, 3, 8.
12.
Okay. Thank God you did it, because 3 fails would have been a problem.
Seraphina's really confused in this elevator.
Just pull the levers.
What are you doing?
Okay, the last piece of the puzzle you guys know would be Seraphina has a transport log in her pocket that she has not read yet.
Okay, so Seraphina will be like, oh, right, and she will hand it over to Eidos. Like, Eidos, I found this in one of the rooms.
Oh, perfect. Let's get to Killian so we can read it and solve the puzzle.
Perfect.
And we leave it all to Dane.
Oh no.
Yep.
But Willa, put on one of those helmets and look down the hall to see if they're coming back.
I mean, will those helmets fit over my big half-work head?
Can you even pull it out right now since we're in the anti-magic?
Oh,
Is this
oh
the magic anti-magic? Yeah. We don't.
God.
Wait, Seraphina's right here, isn't she?
Seraphina's got one.
Tina has
She's
the
got
one that is not in the bag of holding,
Yeah.
but the others are stuck in the bag of holding.
Yeah, she got it
Right.
from
We
upstairs.
did not
Yeah.
think that through.
Yikes.
Hers is certainly not big enough. Okay, so I'll tell for the audience what I've put in the chat for your last clues about the puzzle. So there are 4 sections in which the cells are rotated through via a chain and pulley system, which automatically pulls every hour on the hour, unless a breach occurs, like a security breach, in which case they use the override. Only 3 of the sections have inmate cells at any given time. One of the sections is always left empty so that it can be used if they need solitary confinement. It doesn't say if any of those sections, it's not always the same section, it's just one is always left empty in their rotation so that section 4 can be used for solitary confinement. So if a cell group was going to rotate into section 4, they would skip it in the case of an override so that it can stay empty for an hour of solitary. The rest of like whatever block that the solitary confinement cage is going to rotates as they normally would have. Just if someone was going to go into section 4, it would have been skipped. An emergency override was initiated this afternoon due to a void lock breach. The chain lifts forced a forward jump for cells that were about to enter section 4 when the override occurred.
Killian hopes other people are working on this as well.
This is complicated, and if we need to take another week so you guys can work it out, that's okay. But we'll keep going. So the warden's shift notes, like I said, they told you the direction the cells rotate in always remains the same. They're always going clockwise around the cross. You know that during the emergency override, the 400s cells were gonna go into section 4 in that next hour, but instead they skipped because the override was pulled. So they would have gone past section 4 all the way up to section 1 instead.
And the 400s are where
Okay.
Seraphina's dad is.
Okay, so
Correct.
if the 400s went to the north, right?
Mhm.
That was at 104, which means that at the 2 o'clock it would have shifted to the second. And
Oh,
where
10
did we say we're
104
at
is
3 o'clock?
Not
now?
quite accurate. Sorry, the last thing I gave you was the coded dialect that Killian has just translated on the chalkboard. That has different times of day and where things were and when.
So at 104, my dad was in section 3, and his cell is 481.
Mm-hmm.
So oh, hold on. Of the 200 cell block, okay.
You have the location of the 200 cell block, so you could try and extrapolate that for the times that the override happened.
And your dad's in the 400s? 481.
He's in the 400th, yeah.
This is a very, very hard puzzle. If we need more,
So
if we need
when
more hints, we can
I-
start doing some rolls. But I want to give you guys
When
time.
I was brought to this area, what section would I have been coming from? Like, would I have known, like, hey, they turned me left? Would I know they turned me right? Or would we have just kept going straight?
I feel like I wrote that down last week. Hold on a second.
But okay, so but if the 200 cell block was facing west, that means the 400 was facing east at 12 to 1. Does that seem like a fact to everybody?
It sounds like a fact. I don't know if it's a correct fact.
Yeah, it's
So it's not. It's
You
not
said
as
it with
you-
a lot of confidence.
it's
So
assuming
when-
that they all move at the same time, right?
Yeah, they're all just
Yeah.
rotating, yeah.
Yeah. So
So-
if it's, go ahead, Dan.
I was gonna say, so like when an override happens, essentially it's just like
It skips.
just skips it. So it kind of like
If-
almost double
If
jumps.
cells
on
were
it.
going to go into the 4th section, then they would skip.
So is the fourth section always empty, regardless of... So the fourth section is west. West is always empty?
The fourth section can be used
No.
as part of the rotation. It's not always empty. It just will be emptied if an override occurs. Whether that means the ones going into it skip, or whether it means the ones that are currently in Section 4 rotate out early. So what I would do is write down the hours as you see on the wall. So you've got 12 to 1, 1 to 156, which is when the override would have triggered the rotation a little bit early. They would have kept Section 4 empty until 3 o'clock, so everything would have skipped right past there in the rotation from then on. And then from 156 to 3, that was all essentially one long rotation, one long set.
Okay, so east.
And right now it's 3:24.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So at 104, he's in section 3.
Okay.
Clock the cells rotate.
4. 1.
And if you guys need more hints, because you're worried about running out of your 5 minutes of warden time,
No, we
you
get
can
plenty
roll
of time.
Yeah, this is good. This is good radio.
Us quiet.
All of us just going like 1 east, 2.
I made a very hard puzzle.
Okay, so at least for like the 200s, which is where Marroway was,
Mhm.
I think that one is currently on the bottom in terms of the grid there.
I think you're right.
Okay, so go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say because we only have the information for the 200 cell block currently. So it started with, so if you draw it like a diagonal, the 4 is on this side, and that's where it started at noon to 1. So it was there, and then it bumped up to the top to the 1, section 1, from 1 to 156, which then was the override happened. So it skips to, or because it locks in for like that.
Sorry, I was not clear. Only the cells that would have moved into 4 or that were already in 4 would skip. Everything else will keep their normal rotation. I'm sorry, that was not super clear.
All right, never mind.
Okay, so
You had it right up until that point.
Okay.
So from 1 to 2,
And
my dad is in section 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
From 2 to 3, he would have rotated to section 4, but it was overridden because
Because the
Because it was
override. You're right.
Because of the override? Oh my god. Okay.
He would have
the
gone to
override-
section 4, but the override.
Okay, so now he would have gone to section 4, but then he moved to section 1, and then the hour passed, and now it's 3 to 4, so now he's in section 2.
to the east.
Correct.
Yes.
That's where I'm
Look
getting
at
with it.
Look at her sly little grin up there. Does that mean she got
So
it?
do I know where we came from? Where I came from when I was brought?
You are in 203.
I know, but if we know where, that will tell
You guys
us
would
the
know
definitive
where Marroway
2
came
is.
from, so you can check.
Okay.
Marroway's section is currently in the section 3 to the south.
Correct.
Okay.
He came from the south. Melanie, you had it. You have it.
Okay, my dad's
It would be the
You
north.
nailed it.
in section 2. I gotta go.
You're right. You're right. You're right.
You did it.
Yeah, because
Very
I was
nicely
just
done.
because I was like, then Marroway would be to the south, and that's when we have everything else. And then let's see, And then that would be
checking
section.
Marroway just kind of helps you check your work, and that is
Yeah,
correct.
it's just checking her
Okay.
work, and then that means that the empty cleared is on section 4.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I got it. It just took me a little bit longer, but I got it. It's fine. Whatever.
Yeah. So you nailed it. You deciphered all of the clues you have in front of you. You have like 20
Yay.
seconds before the warden's going to be back, though. That was almost the full 5 minutes.
All right.
Killian,
so
you beautiful bastard. You solved it.
so I'll take out one of
Single-handedly.
There you go. Not a problem. All right,
Seraphina's trying to be cool in her helmet.
Yeah. I'll give Seraphina an outfit, a guard outfit, so she can try to see if we can get to her dad. Either one of us is going to have to get to him, and then we can try to get him out in a guard outfit. I have 3 on.
Here.
One.
Oh, to put
Oh,
him
he has
in.
an extra-
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have an extra one, Seraphina?
Yeah, I'm already wearing it.
Yeah.
It's right
let me
here.
give you
She doesn't have
let me
an
give
extra.
you an extra one in case you could give it to you.
Are
Like
you
one
gonna
of us
hold
is going
on
to get
to
to you.
it?
So
Yes.
one
Give
of
it to your
us
dad.
can go to your dad, and then he can
Put it
dress
on your
up and we can
dad.
walk out.
All right. All right,
Just
so
in
she'll
case we
take
get
it.
separated.
She's just casually holding.
Are we about to like jump the warden?
That is a question.
We might not. We might not have to.
So,
Right? So
I'll go with Seraphina
Yeah.
down the hall
Yeah.
because I can.
How do we get him out?
We have
Do we
20
blocks.
seconds till she gets back.
Yeah, we
Pick
don't have a
rocks.
key though.
About 10.
You gotta break a lock.
I gotta pick one maybe.
he's got lockpicks.
I
Okay,
mean,
go.
I am ready to knock her the crap out. I'm just saying.
I mean, I am too, but yeah, why don't they try to go get him? Hopefully,
Bye.
maybe. Bye. Good luck.
Seraphina, you got the helmet. You get to lead. This is dark. I
Oh,
assume.
and here, and I'll
Will.
take an extra one out and hand it to Marroway. Maybe we could get you while you were in the elevator to dress you up as this, so that you don't look as conspicuous. I have one extra one.
And remember that Valerian will
Ye-
be much like Marroway here. Very drained. You might have to help carry him.
Mhm.
Mm.
But if he's in a guard costume,
will-
say he...
I will alert everyone to the fact that my walking speed is 15 feet per turn right now, so...
All right, I'll have to carry.
Is he
you.
carried?
Yeah.
I got you.
I can carry
Okay.
him, Bula. I can keep normal pace with us and still carry him
Okay.
because I can go 60 feet and half is still 30. So.
And if Valerian is in a similar state, we'll just say he got sick. Cover him in a guard costume. He's sick. We're taking him to the infirmary.
Do we know how to get downstairs? Still not yet.
It's
We have to.
It's just more levers.
Just more levers? Okay. Yeah,
I'm
because that
assuming.
really worked for us at the same time.
Practice makes perfect. We're professionals now at lever
Yup.
pulling.
So the
Pulling
immediate
those
problem
levers.
you're about to face, as we wrap this point up, there is a guard down the hallway that you're trying to go down to get her dad. Guards are all wearing helmets. The warden put on her helmet. It's a guard in that hallway, as opposed to the warden and the 2 others who are about to walk back into the office as well. So
I
you're gonna have
noticed that
questions.
I am not
There's
there.
also a mysterious new guard who somehow came down here by themselves.
Killian has a guard outfit, right? So it's
Two
2
new
guards.
guards.
2 new
New
guards.
guards. One of them is Killian.
I'm just holding one. I'm like,
Warden
oh, don't mind this.
She's seen Killian's face.
I'm usually not the first one to suggest this, but violence might be the key here, people.
Yes.
You're gonna punch people
And-
out.
As Marroway says that, all 4 of the doors open. The warden surveys the room. Did you get what you needed? Before she astutely sees another guard wearing their helmet in the room.
Yeah, Ado straightens his tunic and like rubs his hand like he's been punching this foul creature, and says, "Yes, I believe we did. However, when is his trial scheduled for? Do you know?"
They haven't even gotten to scheduling trials for new detainees as of today. That's going to be at least a week from now before we can get that far. What are you doing down here? Pointing at Seraphina.
I saw some real funny business going on in here, and they told me this crazy story. I'm supervising.
Roll deception with disadvantage. None of
Oh.
that makes sense.
Can I use my lucky point for advantage, just so I don't roll with disadvantage?
Heroic
Yeah.
inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm gonna do a good deception roll. 17.
Okay, and why did you come down here in the first place? We already have guards on duty down here.
Warden, can I just be real with you?
It's my
It's
first
been really
day.
crazy.
I would prefer it if you did, yes.
Our schedules have been shifting constantly. The hallways are shifting. The prisons are shifting. I just got here. I'm doing my best.
What an excuse. Incredible.
Best is always a good excuse.
But I was taking the initiative to supervise these people and their crazy story.
She just rolled an insight of 12. And she, like, puts her hands on her hips and she kind of, like, looks at Ados and is like, this is why I need a win, honestly.
Yeah.
Let's go upstairs and we'll, you can tell me what I need to know now. Alright, boys, put the Fey one back in his cell. Let's go.
You know, actually, we might talk about this Fey prisoner's fate. Maybe I can sweeten the pot for you and take him as a prisoner of Pravos.
So not only do I not have the Blackthorns yet, I am now losing a prisoner that I have to vouch for somehow.
Well, as I'm sure you know, Lysandra Blackthorne is still outside of these walls. Maybe I could help you with her too. Perhaps Cedric as well.
Roll persuasion. Just flat.
Hey.
Where's that explosion?
Holy shit! Okay.
No way. No
Oh!
I had to prove that one. Woo!
Nice.
That's incredible because what I rolled for her. I don't
What
know
is
if you
it?
can see that.
The
It's a
19.
19?
It was a
Oh
19.
my
Sorry, just rolled. It
God.
was a 19.
Oh wow. That is the gods looking down upon us.
Honestly, wild. Okay. Holy crap. Yeah, she needs a win. She just said it. She needs a win, and she needs a good one. This job is killing her slowly. She's got kids to feed. She's gonna take the sweeter deal. She'll say, she'll like look at the guards in the room and she'll dismiss 2 of them, say, all right, you guys have been down here long enough. We have 2 guards down here to cover the halls, meaning Seraphina and the 1 guard that the warden herself brought down with all of you. She says, why don't you 2 take over this shift for these guys? They can come back up with us. Take an hour to relax, as you say. What is your name again? Looking at you, Seraphina.
Cool guard.
Cool
Your name is
guard.
Cool Guard.
They call me Cool Guard. No big deal.
All right. You stay here, man the hallways. Have you been on rotation down here before?
This is my first time down here, but don't worry, I got it.
Oh my god, this is all useless. They're all useless. Everybody I work with. Let's go, let's go. You guard the hallways, hit the stone in your uniform pocket if anything goes sideways. No.
Got it.
She leads everybody except for you and the guard that came down with the rest of you. The 2 guards who were manning this station are gonna ride back up. She instructs them to kind of help, like, carry Marroway, essentially. If Bula will let them even get close.
She's not with him looking like that. It's gonna be real difficult.
They're gonna give you weird looks because this is your prisoner.
Instinctively, I know it. She'll say, so they're letting us keep him, yeah? She'll say,
They're letting you guys take him upstairs with you.
okay. So she'll say, he's our prisoner now. We'll handle him. And she'll have Zada come over and pick him up.
All right, roll intimidation.
Ooh.
No.
way!
I would move my camera, but I can't look.
I believe you.
It's good. It's good.
Oh my god!
It's probably
Oh
like
my
the first nat 20 I've rolled like the
Alright.
entire campaign.
You're allowed to keep hands on Marroway, I guess. Just fuck me. Incredible. Okay. Wow. As you all get on the elevator, Seraphina is left behind with a miscellaneous guard. Probably not as cool as Cool Guard. That's where we're gonna call it tonight because I feel like we need a week for us to wrap this up. Honestly, incredible with the rolls tonight. And when we come back next week, we'll see how you guys talk the warden into letting you leave here with Marroway. How Melanie is gonna get her dad out of his jail cell by herself. And what other kind of shenanigans you guys can come up with. So join us here next Monday, same time as always, 8 Eastern, 7 Central. I'll know that someday by heart. Come watch the rest of this nonsense. We'll see you then.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-lo.